Welcome.
Hello there, AC Mike. How are you? Unless anyone is concerned about me having a tumor, the growth on my face you're referring to is little facial hair, but enjoy it while it lasts because I'm getting a shave later this afternoon. So this is about as much as you'll see for a while.
You got it, man. We appreciate that. And listen, real quick, folks, if you call in for those tickets, the tickets will be, I just been notified, at the will call window, but we'll get your name, your information, and that sort. Frankie, real quick, I wanted to get into some, the airlines, the
Yeah.
lines, just what's happening with Homeland Security, the funding. Again, just the borders being, I could go so many different places. A young lady was just murdered over the weekend, not too long ago, and a big statement from her parents. Just there's so much going on in the world right now. And if our Republicans and Democrats and whoever, if they can't get this figured out, you got these guys working 16 hours a day, if that, folks calling out. I mean, who's going to work for free? Talk to us about. I mean, I know I just jumped all around, Frankie,
Yeah.
but your thoughts about that whole situation?
Yeah. So first, let's talk about what I woke up to this morning
LaGuardia.
with the news at LaGuardia, which
Yeah.
is not only one of the major airports in New York City and the whole country, but is a stone's throw from where I am right now in Manhattan. So, uh, you know, this is a very troubling story and incredibly disturbing. So we'll begin with the tragedy at LaGuardia. So I don't know how much you mentioned already, and I know the bottom of the hour network news touched upon it as well. But you had this Air Canada Express regional jet arriving from Montreal, colliding with a Port Authority firefighting vehicle on the runway. The plane had already landed and was slowing down when the crash occurred. The worst part, obviously, is that the pilot and the co pilot were killed. More than 40 others were injured, some seriously.
Mm.
It wasn't midair, it was not weather, which was my first inclination when I woke up and it was raining. This was a runway coordination failure, the kind of thing that should never happen in modern aviation. And early indications suggest, and I don't know if you heard the audio of the fire truck, but earlier indications suggest the fire truck was responding to a separate incident and somehow ended up on the same runway as the aircraft, possibly due to miscommunication with air traffic control. So now, at least for the next 2 hours, LaGuardia is effectively shut down, hundreds of flights canceled or
Mm.
diverted. And this is a ripple effect that's now spreading across JFK, Newark, even Westchester. And just hours later, almost unbelievably, Newark Airport had its own issue, smoke in the control tower, forcing a temporary ground stop there. So if anybody's listening to us and traveling on their way to the airport today, whatever airport, good luck. You're dealing with a system that's already stretched thin. Now, as you point out,
Right.
what happened here, it's not happening in a vacuum. At the same time,
Right.
we're in the midst of this partial federal government shutdown, which is affecting Homeland Security, which obviously includes the TSA. And the consequences of this are showing up in real time. You have massive TSA staffing shortages because people don't want to show up if they're not getting paid. Absentee rates are spiking. Hundreds of TSA agents have quit. Travelers are being told to arrive not an hour earlier, not 2 hours earlier, 4 hours early
Right.
in some airports. So now to compensate, the President Trump says, and I think this is a good strategy under the circumstances, he's deploying ICE agents into airports, not to screen bags, but to help with crowd control and ID checks. That's how strained things are. So the bottom line is air travel in this country is built on layers of redundancy and precision. When everything works, it's incredibly safe. But what you're seeing right now is what happens when multiple layers start
Right.
weakening at the same time. Simultaneously, you have a runway safety failure, which they're investigating, air traffic systems already being investigated, TSA staff way too thin due to the shutdown, backup personnel being pulled in who aren't traditionally part of airport operations. And suddenly, the margin for error, which is supposed to be razor thin, it starts to widen. So we don't know if the shutdown or TSA issues had anything to do with the LaGuardia crash. But what I think we can say is this is a stress test of the entire aviation system, and it's not passing comfortably at all. So It's a mess. It's a mess in the most charitable way to put it. I mean, you said Democrats and Republicans need to work out their issues to fund the TSA. 100%. And I know Elon Musk stepped up and he said he's
Yeah.
willing to pay the TSA agents. More power to him. I mean, if it gets these people paid, whatever we have to do, let's do it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I agree with you. Let them pay. Let Musk pay. But again, just I mean, to my knowledge, right? ICE is funded for another couple years, right? Because this is the big problem, ICE, right? As far as the Democrats are concerned, and mask and whatnot. How can you let this go through? What's happening, as Frank just eloquently stated, of all the layers of incompetence? I mean, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. And you're not just worrying about votes and whatnot. You're talking about lives. You're talking about, lives in jeopardy. You're talking about, electric bills being paid by these men and women who work. And then I also even heard back some pushback with the ICE guys coming in, to help out or whatnot. Well, look, if you got somebody from TSA working security, I'd rather him be her be where they belong, working behind the counter and taking care of the folks coming in, and let the ICE guys take security. So I don't want to dive too much into that, as far as what's a good job, but what are you supposed to do? I mean, no matter what this man does, it's wrong. But the fact of the matter is, these uh, men and women on the Hill and the voting, we need to get this done. I'm not even sure. Is there another vote coming up soon? I tried to catch that on the way in, but I was unable to.
I'll be honest. I'm not sure. I've kind of lost track,
Right.
and I've got my hands full legislating
Yeah.
here at City Hall in New York. But in this we got to do something. Right,
Yeah.
over 400 TSA agents have quit since this shutdown began. In Houston, nearly 40% of the TSA staff didn't show up on one day, and the result is exactly what you'd expect: 3-hour lines, missed flights, and total frustration. So, what's the federal response? Now, the administration, and again, I think this is a smart move under the circumstances, is
Yeah.
deploying ICE agents to
Right.
airports in New York, Houston, Atlanta, Chicago. These ICE agents, though, are not replacing TSA screeners. As I
Right.
said, they're being used to do crowd control and manage lines. So, step back for a second. This is where you see something important and, frankly, something a little uncomfortable. Even with all our technology, all our infrastructure, all our security layers, and so much has been made about AI in every field, the system still depends on people showing up
That's
to
right.
work. And when those people aren't getting paid or are stretched thin, the system starts to wobble. So, what's happening? The government's essentially saying we need bodies at the airport. Let's bring in another federal workforce to stabilize things. And in a narrow sense, it makes practical sense. Keep lines moving, you prevent gridlock, but it also tells you something deeper. We're improvising here. And aviation is one place where you don't want improvisation. So you're taking a system built on specialization, in this case the TSA, and you're supplementing it with personnel trained for a completely different mission. So it's not a long-term solution. It's a stopgap. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but it's not going to solve the problem here. We need both parties to come together and act like adults, and they can go back to fighting about funding ICE or voter ID or whatever they want to fight about after we get the airports moving again.
No, I agree, Frankie, and you touched on it. With the TSA, the staff, the ones that have quit, that is where I'm really concerned, because this is going to be another layer once they come together and get the funding going and the vote goes the way it should go, because not an easy job to train for. And it takes a while to get these folks who have quit, because they're out looking for other jobs, many of them. So it's going to be a problem, a shortfall of staff, also having to train them, and it's still going to be gridlock. And I guess I don't get it, but I do get it, because it's all about grandstanding some of it. And again, somewhere along the line, we got to come together and just say, do what's good for the country, do what's good for the folks flying, for the folks trying to pay their bills. Folks, we're talking with Councilman New York City, Frank Morano, also radio host WOND. And I'm going to be sending them some dates, because yours truly will be going on a vacation very soon. And also 77 WABC, Frank Morano, 609-927-1100. We'll be right back. Thanks, Frank.
Sure.
Refund season is upgrade season at Boardwalk Honda, where your hard-earned
Frank, do
cash
you have to
goes
peel
further
out at
during the Honda
55 or?
Spring event.
No,
If
no,
you're
I
ready
can
to
go to
hit the
one.
open
I'm
road
already
this
right
season,
now.
stop in and check out the 2026
I hope
Honda
this part's not
CR-V, the
recorded, but
compact
I'm
SUV
actually
crossover
in
that
the
is
midst
Yeah, it
simply
is.
built
It
with
is. It is.
adventure
It
in
is.
mind.
So I
A
have two
spacious
other
cabin and
things,
cargo
two other
area
places
give
that
you
I
more room for
that I
bigger trips.
should be right
Plus,
now.
rugged
But
design
I'll
and
just go back to
confident
the
handling
1 o'clock.
make it ideal for
Okay.
your drive.
Yeah,
Across town or across the country.
This
And
TSA
Boardwalk
thing
Honda
really-
is still the Shore's destination for more value, thanks to our transparent pricing
And the
and
Guardia,
absolutely
I mean, that-
no hidden fees ever. Want to trade in your existing car for the new Honda CR-V? We'll do that too. And make sure you get every dollar you deserve. Don't wait to get behind the wheel. The Honda Spring event offers won't last long. Visit our Egg Harbor showroom or shop online anytime at boardwalkhonda.com.
I take it, Josh, we didn't get anybody for the Carmen tickets, which is fine. We got till the 26th.
The best movie experience in South Jersey is at Square Theaters.
Tilton Square in Northfield, with the largest IMAX screen in the state of New Jersey.
Harbor Square, 96th Street in Stone Harbor, and Ventnor Square in Ventnor, featuring Dolby Atmos sound and the famous Nookie's Restaurant and Bar.
Cape Square in Rio Grande, with Dolby Atmos sound and laser projectors, as well as 16 lanes of bowling and an incredible arcade.
And movies return to the Ocean City Boardwalk at the historic Moreland Square, completely remodeled with all new projectors and Dolby 7.1 sound.
Check out what's playing online at squaretheaters.com. Square Theaters, it's more than just a movie.
Square Theaters, a better way to see a movie.
Head to the Wave at Golden Nugget Atlantic City every weekend for Flashback Fridays and Retro Saturdays. Every Friday, rock out to tribute bands from your favorite eras. Admission is $15 and includes a complimentary drink ticket. Every Saturday, they celebrate all genres of music from Motown and disco to country and rock. Even some of the area's hottest cover bands, and admission is free. So grab your friends and join them every weekend at the Wave. Visit goldennugget.com for the complete Flashback Fridays and Retro Saturdays lineup in the Wave. Must be 21 plus with valid ID.
Looking for a night of inspiration, music, and creativity? HD Vision Entertainment presents Gospel Karaoke and Poetry Night, Saturday, March 28th from 5 to 9 p.m. at Reliance Hall on Reliance Avenue in Mays Landing. Grab the mic, share your voice, or sit back and enjoy an uplifting evening of gospel karaoke and powerful spoken word. This is an 18 and over event, and light refreshments will be served. Tickets are just $25. Lift your voice, move your soul. Let's make memories together. For questions, email hdvisionent@aol.com.
Here's a tax, estate, and nursing home planning tip with noted tax attorney David R. Thierman.
It is important to realize that beneficiaries on financial accounts, annuities, IRAs, life insurance policies overpower the beneficiaries you have in a will. Make sure you understand and remember who you may have made the beneficiaries on your various financial accounts.
Tune in for David R. Thierman and Gene Isley on It's Your Money, Saturday mornings at 8 on WOND.
And you don't stop, cause you can. And you don't stop, when you can. And you don't stop.
You're hearing the AC Mike Lopez Show on News Talk 1492.3 WOND.
One of New York's best there, the Beastie Boys. Listen, I just heard on that bottom of the hour break, or that halfway break, talking about Ocean City a little bit. Listen, I just want to give a shout out to the Public Works out there, Boardwalk Division. Fantastic job. I was at some friend's house yesterday on Penland Avenue and walked out to that boardwalk. Wonderful. Doing a great job redoing that boardwalk. We're talking with Frank Morano. Frankie, where do you want to take it from here? Listen, there's so much going on. I know you got some pools out there as well, some basketball. But again, that situation in New York with the airport, I know some of it has affected some of the folks here in Philly. I was watching a broadcast, a news broadcast, talking about how some folks are coming down to get flights out here too. So to your point, I mean, it's a multi-layered problem that's going to be, I don't want to say happening, it's going to be going on for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very problematic, and I'm hopefully things can ease up a bit. Now, I am very excited on a much more exciting note. I know you're still in the throes of March Madness, but I'm very excited about baseball season beginning. The Pirates are coming to town for the Mets. My father and stepmother are going out to San Francisco to see the Yankees open up the whole season against the Giants. So I'm excited about that. Also, very excited that one of my all-time favorite personalities, William Shatner, turned 95 yesterday. The guy still looks great. I talked to him recently. He's just as effervescent and as energetic as can be. And very sorry to see that we lost the one and only, the great Chuck Norris on Friday. Certainly, if ever there was an icon, if ever there was one. And not a lot of people have talked about the fact that he was an Air Force veteran and served in Korea. And I think that's an important aspect of his life and his career that a lot of people haven't really spent much time about. And obviously, I'm not. I was quite a critic of this person in his later years, but we also lost Robert Mueller over the weekend. And as critical as I might have been over his tenure as the director of the FBI and as the special counsel, you can't ignore his incredible service during Vietnam. And what always struck me about Robert Mueller is here was a guy who was Ivy League educated and a child of privilege, and he volunteered to enlist in Vietnam, I think after a friend of his was killed. And he went and fought and actually fought. He didn't put on a uniform and go play baseball or something. He fought and was a recipient of, I think, a Bronze Star and a number of other medals for heroism. So to me, whatever my disagreements with him politically, I always give him a lot of credit for his service to the military. And I thought the president's comments about his passing were a real shame, to put it mildly.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Just unfortunate. Yeah, hey, you mentioned Chuck Norris. I remember as a kid, Frankie, living in Philly at the time, Pop bringing me to my first movie, and it was not Enter the Dragon, Way of the Dragon. I believe
with
it
Bruce
was.
Lee.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
My first movie ever, and just fell in love with movies ever since then, and just been a great time. Listen, real quick, talking about opening day. It's going to be a fantastic one. I mentioned at the top of the hour, Frankie, it's going to be a beautiful afternoon in Philadelphia. 3 p.m. start, my friend. So this kid's going to be peeling out of here at 1:01 p.m. and heading to Philadelphia. What are your thoughts about your Mets and, where the NL East looks good, man. Looks good. Jump in, Josh, if you want to. But go ahead, Frank.
I've watched as many spring training games as I could, and they look okay. But you can never tell anything about the prospects of a team based on the spring training games. I was so optimistic going into last season and got nothing but heartbreak. So look, I on the one hand, I hate to lose Pete Alonso and K-Rod, but with a team that has both Lindor or Soto, I think they're going to be contenders no matter what. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens.
Yep, going to be competitive. I think whoever, and again, I'm talking here before the first pitch is pitched on opening day. I'm saying somewhere around 98, 99 wins between the Phils and the Mets and some of the others, the Braves, that it's going to take that. Real quick, Josh, throw your 2 cents in there real quick.
I don't know if nobody reaches 98, 99 wins. We've seen over the past couple years, nobody get to 100 wins. So
yeah, that's true.
I struggle to say that, but I do like the Mets where they're at. I like that. Like, just we shook things up. It felt like we had that same core for so long, and most teams will just play that till the fat lady sings. And David Stearns is like, no, this isn't working. We're changing this. And he did. I like that a lot. Carson Bench has looked awesome in spring training so far, who's going to be the starting right fielder, I think, this year. I'm happy with our pitching depth this year. I'm a little worried about the bullpen, but overall, I like where the team is. I'm not like, this is good, this is a World Series or bust, but I have optimism. Granted, I have optimism almost. I've had optimism a lot past couple years, and it's not always turned out good.
Listen, optimism is something we've all had
as
a Philly fan. It hasn't always been great. Just the same with the Mets. Frankie, to you.
Yeah, look, I concur. Fingers crossed, and we'll see what happens. And look, baseball, even when it's disappointing, is still more rewarding than most aspects of life.
Love it, love it. And again, so with the mayor and Hochul, I've been watching some back and forth, some quick hits with the what's going on there with taxes and trying to get folks to move back in. I was watching the Sean Hannity podcast with Comrade De Blasio, as he would call him. Your thoughts there? Anything happening in that way, or there's still talks going
Well,
on?
we'll see. Where right now I'm in the midst of, and when I leave here, I'm going to go back to questioning the New York City Parks Commissioner and then the Small Business Commissioner on our budget, on their budget priorities and my budget priorities. But we will see. Look, I think I didn't have particularly high hopes for Mayor Mamdani, but he's managed to be even worse than I imagined. The forgetting about the tax increases, right, which is a big deal. The property taxes and/or the income taxes. They're also wanting now to raise the death tax, which right now only affects you if you have an estate that's worth about $7 million or more, which is very, very few people. They want to bring that down to about $750,000. If that happens, no one, forget about being able to afford to live in New York, which no one can do now. They're going to make it so you can't afford to die in New York. And nobody is going to stay here who has an estate worth $750,000, which is really just a nice house in a lot of places. So it's really disconcerting. And I hope he's able to get back on the right track.
Listen, let's hope. Again, when you say that he's doing worse, Mayor Mamdani, when it comes from you, Frankie, again, I know you have your points, your viewpoints, and your platform and what you believe in, but you have to be one of the top 2 or 3 politicians, public servants that I know that it's open to all. And for you to say that, I mean, it's got to be for real. And what we're seeing here is not the best. Let folks know where they can find you and your work, sir. I'm sorry, we're about out of time as usual.
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you next week. And folks can find me on Twitter at Frank Morano. That's Morano, or just search Frank Morano on Facebook. FrankMorano.
Thank you, Frankie. I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Hasta la vista, Mike.
Hey, folks, want to tell you, jump on that website, acmikeNJ.com. We're going to be doing a podcast real soon. Get ready for that. Be part of that newsletter. Give us some comments, what you want us to write about. Frank Morano, thank you. Our callers, Josh, appreciate you because you folks are the ones that bring the AC Mike Show and all our shows on WOND to life. Hasta luego. I'll see you tomorrow on the radio. Live, work, play. Peace.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Before traveling to Memphis for a safety roundtable event, President Trump announcing he's delaying the deadline